On Overdrive this week, we find out what makes the all-new Mahindra XEV 9S a standout vehicle, and we bring you a detailed review of the River Indy Gen-3, which could be the SUVs of scooters. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I am Soini Dutt. The all-new Mahindra electric XEV 9S flaunts its coupe-inspired design along with a very powerful long-range battery. It has a triple-screen luxurious interior and also advanced tech and refined driving experience. Here's Tuin telling you more about it.
Now, if you always wanted a Mahindra EV but needed that added dose of practicality, you were out of luck. But that's changed now with this new Mahindra XEV 9S. It's a 3-row, 7-seater electric SUV, and let's see what it gives you. Now, as you can see from the front, it's very similar to the Mahindra XEV 9e. So you have that same big, wide light signature, those big, tall, triangular headlamps, and that blank, very EV type look. But here's where things change. You notice the grille, it has more SUV, like a more butch sort of opening, kind of floating. These floating panels give you that slightly more tough feeling. Now, coming to the sides, this is where you notice where things have changed a lot. Now, this car is about 4.7 meters long, 1.9 meters wide, and 1.7 meters tall. But yeah, this is where things change. Now, interestingly, the wheelbase 2762 mm is actually slightly less than the 9e, which is at 2775 mm. Now, that's been done to sort of accommodate that third row, and the shape also is sort of signifying that. So you have a more upright, practical sort of roof line. You have those same flush door handles, as you can see. And at the back, again, it's very familiar and recognizable as a Mahindra, but it's carrying a lot of those EV traits. So you have that light signature, fully LED. Also, like this honeycomb pattern, it kind of goes with what's in the front grille. Now, the 9S has a manual tailgate, not a powered one like the 9e. And this is the kind of space that I have with the third row up. Now, as you can see, I can put a small backpack here, maybe a few bags. But what you can do is fold this completely down, which will give you 500 liters. But the good thing is that you can fold this completely flat, and Mahindra's use this sort of function to give you something called a camp mode, where you can keep running the car's AC, the music system, the screens and so on through the night, and it will only discharge to the level that you want it to, and you'll have enough charge left the next day to get back home or whatever. Now, the 9S continues to be based on that same Inglo skateboard architecture, which means it's rear driven. That also means that you keep getting that quite practical frunk. It's 150 liters, just like in the 9e. From the front seats, the XEV 9S feels familiar. You have basically the same dash as the 9e, so the large 12.3-inch triple screen layout is front and center. The screens work in much the same way, and like before, the touchscreens could be a bit more intuitive with their menus. The driver's screen combined with the head-up display is much easier to live with. It puts out information in a clear and functional way. Here's a look at all the features and safety equipment you get with the XEV 9S. You have soft materials on the dash and most other touchpoints, although some of the less visible bits have hard plastics. Quality and fit is acceptable, but like before, we wish there were physical controls for the climate functions. The touch panel buttons on the dash could also be more responsive. You have enough storage around the center console and door bins, but not as much as some rivals. Now, in the second row is where the 9S really starts differentiating itself from a lot of other EVs, including the other Mahindras at this price point. Now, as you can see, you have that fully flat floor. That by itself gives you a lot of practicality. And with this boxier, more practical shape, you can see that I have a good deal of headroom. Yes, with this sunroof, if you're closer to 6 feet tall, then you might have your head brushing. But this is where things get really interesting. Now, the 9e had that manual boss function, but things have gotten more convenient with this powered function. I can really spread out, and I can also slide the seat. Now, this is fully behind. I can slide the seat to the rearmost position. I can also recline it, it's manual, and now I can really stretch out. And this is another feature that's been added that's quite good. You have a ventilated function for the second row. You have those Harman-Kardon speakers. You have the two 65-watt chargers with those device holders, your air vents, and that wireless charger here. And then, of course, this bit here, your armrest, and there's even the third headrest. Now, coming to the actual comfort of these seats, they're again very typically Mahindra. So you have that fully flat bench. So even if I'm in the middle, I have a good deal of space. Yeah, it's a bit upright, but again, I can recline this bit also. But yeah, you don't have as much adjustability as these outboard seats, but you will not be shortchanged. Getting into the third row of the 9S, it's quite simple. You have this tumble fold function, which thankfully is on the right side. So it's on the left side of the car, so you will be facing the curb. It's a lot safer that way. And I can, with that flat kind of entry, and the door also opens reasonably wide, I can enter easily. Now, this is, remind you with the seat fully back. Now, it must be said that there is a bit more space here than you would think was there at first glance. Now, yes, if you are an adult, then you can do shorter journeys, but it's not an especially cramped, tight fit where you will absolutely not want to spend time here. Now, there are some good amenities here as well. You have those speakers from the Harman-Kardon system, a 12-volt outlet. I think there could have been Type-C chargers, but thankfully you have your own blower controls here and vents. And I must say that this quarter glass is also quite large, so a good deal of light comes in. And in terms of headroom, yes, I just have enough. So if you're anywhere taller, you will be in a lot of trouble. As 7 seats go, this is okay, and Mahindra has done reasonably well.
Well, I'm sure you're curious to know how this SUV fares on our Indian roads. Stay with us. After this very short break, we'll tell you all about it. Welcome back, here with us on Overdrive. Now, just before the break, we told you all about the styling as well as the interiors, the cabin of the XEV 9S. But now it's time to take a look at the performance. Now, it comes with 3 battery options, a 59 kilowatt hour, a 70 kilowatt hour and a 79 kilowatt hour battery pack. And you get a range of over 650 kilometers on a single charge. Let's find out if this is a practical SUV that you would be interested in. Starting price is 19.95 lakh rupees.
Now, the XEV 9S, as you might expect, shares a lot of its components and battery packs with the other in-glow models. So this top-end version, again, very similarly has a 79 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's paired with a single rear motor that makes about 285 PS and 380 Newton meters. But a new 70 kilowatt hour battery pack has been added that puts out about 240 PS, slightly more than 240 PS, that sits between that and the smaller 59 kilowatt hour battery pack. So on the road, what you find is that the driving experience is very similar to, say, the B6 or the XEV 9E. What that means is that you have that energetic but still linear and quite manageable performance that comes off. It's not the most conservative or restricted EV drivetrain in that sense. So you do get, even in the base default mode, you do get a good punch. And like we've always said, this is a potent and fast car. So when you first start driving it, you have to be a bit careful if you're not used to something like this. And as you might expect, as you keep going through the modes, it gets pretty quick, and this car will get to triple-digit speeds very easily. And the thing is that it maintains that momentum and doesn't seem to fade away even when you pass triple-digit speeds. Now you still have very similar regen modes, that boost mode, that one-pedal driving mode. Now the regen modes, again, they feel cohesive. The shift from drive to coasting to regen is quite natural. Although sometimes while coming to a standstill, you do notice it to be a bit jerky. But I have to say that at level 2 in the slow kind of driving that we've done so far, it's fine. You don't seem to want to shuffle around too much. Now, one noticeable difference between this and the 9E is that the top spec variant actually runs on 18 inches with the 9S, whereas in the 9E it's 19s, and that really does show up in the kind of ride that you get. Now, these cars felt quite plush and well damped over even broken roads, but with those slightly thicker rubber that you have now, the experience is more comfortable. So, but the 9E with those 19 inches had a slightly sharper edge to it over broken roads. This one feels plusher, keeps you cocooned, a bit more distance from it. So if you are being chauffeured around, if you maybe don't want the most connection, want a bit more comfort, then this could be the car to choose between the two, at least for the top end versions. But otherwise, it still remains that fluid, quite natural, well-balanced, nice handling car. Now, we know that this architecture has good weight distribution. The steering is that variable geometry steering. And it's quite direct and it's not afraid to be a bit sporty and sharp. So if you like driving, tucking this car into corners, there's a good amount of fun that you can have. It leans very progressively, it leans naturally. So it's a fun driving experience. So even though you're traveling with a family, the times that you do want to enjoy, I think it does a good job. Now the brakes, yes, I do feel it could have had a bit more feel. It's not the most feel. Sometimes you have to sort of get used to it a little bit. But over time, once you have driven this car a bit, it should come naturally to view. Now much of the driving character, just like in the other Inglo model, it comes from that multi-link rear setup, which, like I mentioned, gives it good balancing at high speeds. It's stable and it's always cocooned, and the double glazing glass that's been put, I think that goes with the entire driving experience to give this car quite a plush feeling. Now while you do have some of those interior sound modes and so on, they're not excessively done. So it's always in the background and it's quite a peaceful experience in that way. With the largest 79 kWh battery pack, the ARAI range number is 679 kilometers. In our previous experiences with these Inglo cars, you should get a 500 km real world range in city driving. Charging speeds are rated at 180 kW for this battery pack. Priced between Rs 19.95 lakh and Rs 29.45 lakh, the Mahindra XEV 9S feels like better value than the company's previous EVs. You have a good deal of usable space. The third row is functional enough to be used by smaller adults, while the second row packs a load of comfort. It still has great efficiency and the drive experience continues to feel premium and engaging while having become a bit more refined. There's enough here to make this Mahindra's most successful EV yet.
Well, it's time to head into our final break here on the show, but don't go anywhere because on the other side, we'll get you introduced to the SUVs of scooters by a new electric brand, River Indy. Welcome back, you're with us on Overdrive. Now, the River Indy is manufactured by an Indian EV brand called the River Electric, which is often known to engineer products which are tough and practical and are also known to be the SUVs of scooters. Now, the River Indy Gen-3 is one such practical offering and it's made for the big city life. Let's find out more about it.
Now, if you consider scooters and their usage in the city on a daily basis, well, they're supposed to be comfortable, practical, and, well, just give you that ease of convenience and everything. And yeah, when it comes to electric scooters, well, they are becoming all the rage because, yeah, skyrocketing fuel prices, ethanol mixes, and what have you. This scooter is touted to be, or it is marketed to be, one of the SUVs of the scooter world. Well, that's what the company are putting it out there to be, or portraying it to be. It is a lot more than just that, because with everything that it has to offer in terms of space, practicality, and, well, ease of use, well, I am just completely bowled over by it. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. So let's check out what the River Indy has to offer. Let's start off with the scooter's design, and as you can see, nice, big and imposing scooter all throughout. Quite substantial to look at and very imposing with those big 14-inch wheels, nice chunky tires, and you have the dual headlamp setup out here with the DRLs, but it looks quite attractive and it's really eye-catching. The way the scooter is set up is just so nice. Substantial looking front end as well. Once you get on the scooter, it has a nice robust feel to it because, yeah, it doesn't feel flimsy at all. Even if you hit a bump, at speed, at slow speeds even, or even higher speeds, talking of which the scooter can hit a top speed of around 90 kilometers per hour. Yeah, it just feels so nice and composed because the suspension, yes, you do feel the bumps, but it kind of rounds it off nicely. You don't feel the sharpness of it. The seat, nice and accommodating, massive seat. And yeah, the amount of storage space that the scooter offers. I mean, you have Nice handy glove box over here. You have a quite decent amount of storage space in there, around 12 liters. And better still is the cabinous under-seat storage, because you have a monstrous 43 liters of storage space now. I managed to fit in my full face Shui helmet in there as well, along with a half-face helmet. If you're riding two up, and helmets are mandatory for both rider and pillion, not an issue there. You can easily store in both your helmets. And yeah, while taking this to work, I managed to put in my backpack with my 15-inch laptop, fit in without a fuss, so that was really nice as well.
Moving up to the 6-inch screen, now this is a rather simple and dark themed LCD screen that gives you just the bare essentials in terms of readout. But it's the simple, uncluttered nature of this display and layout that I really like. Now, River Indy is said to have an IDC range of around 163 kilometers to a complete charge, but obviously that's a bit too much. On the other hand, you have what the company call a true range being displayed on the screen, which I think gives you a more accurate readout as far as the range is concerned. Now you have 3 ride modes: Eco, Ride and Rush. Now in Eco mode, obviously this is where the scooter performs in its most efficient manner. It shows you a range of around 100 kilometers or 110 kilometers to a complete charge just before you set off. The second ride mode, which is called Ride mode, well, here the scooter tells you that you have a max range of around 90 kilometers to work with. And in this ride mode, I found it pretty much perfect for daily use to get around the city, because it strikes a good balance of power and efficiency. It accelerates smooth off the line, moderately brisk in its way of functioning, and overtaking a vehicle at 40 kilometers doesn't feel like a gamble at all. Now Rush, which is the third ride mode, will drop your overall range down to around 70 kilometers. At least that's what the screen tells you when you start off, of course. And it's here where the scooter feels at its liveliest acceleration wise, and you can play with all of the 9 PS and 26 Nm on hand, which is the most that this motor puts out. But you'll want to shift to this mode only when you're in a hurry for whatever reason. Now moving on to the brakes. Now you have disc brakes at either end of the scooter, and I think they work really well. Not only that, but the levers themselves, when they feel nice and solid, and this small aspect gives you a feel of the scooter's sturdiness. Jam on the brakes hard and the River Indy doesn't unsettle, proving that those chunky tires aren't just for show. Now you don't get ABS with this one, just a combined braking system, and I think some might find that to be an issue, although I found it to be perfectly fine in the way it functions.
For the Gen 3 model, they have thrown in hill hold assist, and it is not a feature that you can activate or deactivate. It's just the scooter detects it. If it detects your incline, you stop at an incline, keep the brake pressed for around a second or two, you'll get an indication that hill hold is activated on the scooter, and you can just relax. And if you want to set off, tap the brake once again or just give it a throttle input, and you'll be on your way without a fuss. So yeah, it's just so simple in its functioning. And it functions so nice, so smooth. Throttle transitions, getting off the line is just so smooth. Even if you whack the throttle open, it just ushers you off the line. It's really nice. You get a good amount of feedback from the scooter. Just lovely, smooth in its way of functioning. It's so silent, this thing also. Also, this foot mat is an optional accessory as well. Okay, now the scooter, the River Indy Gen 3, what I really like about it is the fact that it is one of the most simple and well put together scooters that I've ever come across. It is one of the most comfortable scooters that I've ever ridden, ICE scooters included. And I just love the way that the scooter makes me feel in terms of ride quality. It feels robust, doesn't feel flimsy at all. Yes, you can argue that for 1,46,000 rupees, you do have a lot of options as far as electric scooters go. That offer you a lot more features as well. But yeah, just the level of comfort, the storage space, the ease of use and convenience that the scooter offers is just unmatched. And I'm just waiting for River Indy to set up, or River to set up shop in Bombay. And I think this scooter is going to do really, really well.
Well, we've run out of time on this week's all-electric show. You can write to us on YouTube, and you can follow our latest updates on Instagram as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.